Hey, this is Fred from Peavey Electronics, and I'm super excited to talk to you about the VYPYR X series of amplifiers. You may just be getting ready to buy your first amplifier, and you may be wondering, what is the difference between a modeling amplifier, an analog amplifier, tube amplifiers, and the many competitors that are out there in the marketplace. And hopefully, I'll give you a little information that will help you make your decision. First of all, VYPYR series of amps are analog distortion. That is a big deal. Most of our competitors do their distortion in the digital domain. Well, while that's inexpensive, it doesn't always sound fantastic. It's a little nasally, but the real difference between analog distortion and digital distortion is analog distortion cuts through the mix. Now, what does that actually mean? Well, in a music store, you can put a bunch of amps in a row and listen to each one of them one at a time, and they all sound pretty good. The difference is when you take that amplifier and put it on stage, ours cuts through the mix, and you can hear it, all the nuances of the amplifier, whereas our competitors' amps tend to get lost in the mix. Why is TransTube better? We've been working on it for about 22 years. We simulate the asymmetrical clipping of a tube amplifier, and in the VYPYR X3, we go one step further and add this power sponge feature. Now, taking a look at the power sponge knob, it would just appear that it's 100% power down to 1% power. But what it's actually doing is you're decreasing the output of the power amplifier, the section. It's simulating tube compression in the output section, which is really unique, and it's a unique feature to the TransTube technology found in the VYPYR series of amplifiers. So what does that mean for you? The amp sounds better when you're playing it in a band, period. One of the most unique features of this amplifier is the variable instrument performance and instrument amp modeling. Now, what does that actually mean? Well, I'm a bass player. Years ago, when we had the first VYPYR series, I was looking for an amp to play through, and I didn't have a bass amp in the office, and I plugged into the VYPYR, and it sounded pretty good, and I thought, well, heck, we could actually make an amplifier that sounds good for bass guitar, acoustic guitar, or electric guitar, and the VIP series became that. Well, we've taken it one step further by improving the cabinet design and improving some of the models on the inside. Now we have the best multi-instrument amp that we have ever built in the VYPYR X3. In addition to that, we have instrument models in it. That's hard to do. So when you're doing monophonic instrument models, actually when we started doing it with the VIP, it was thought to be impossible because nobody else was doing it. So we have perfected that technology with the VYPYR X3, so it allows you to take an electric guitar, make it sound like an acoustic, electric, make it sound like a bass guitar or a baritone or an electric violin or any of these other different instrument models. That's all built in this amplifier. You can plug almost any instrument into it or take an electric guitar and make it sound like almost any other instrument. Combined with 5 different effects simultaneous, you can just about get any sound that you want. Let's take a moment to focus on the world-class effects in the VYPYR series of amplifiers. Because we have the processing power dedicated to doing effects, each one of the over 30+ effects in this amplifier are world-class. Now think about that for a minute. If you were actually to go to the store and buy a pedal for each one of the effects that are in here, that would cost you hundreds and thousands of dollars. Not to mention, we've taken the time to make sure each one of these are world-class. So you're not just getting an amplifier with some mediocre effects in it, you're getting an amplifier that has the effects that are just as good as anything you'd buy in each individual pedal built into this amazing amplifier. And you can run 5 effects at the same time. Imagine what you'd have to do to get all of that outside of an amplifier like this on a floorboard pedal, and it's built in, all ready to go in one simple package. In addition to that, we have WYSIWYG technology on the top of the amp. What does that mean? What you see is what you get. The knobs on our amplifier are always indicating the position of the knobs from preset to preset. You can see the LEDs change and indicate that the knob is moved from the 6 o'clock position to the 3 or vice versa. Our competitors' knobs, when they move from preset to preset, there's no LED, no indication of where the knob's actually at. And that can be difficult to say the least. If you look down on the amp and the knobs aren't really where they're supposed to be, then you really don't know where you need to adjust. And that's a unique advantage and why we have the LEDs around the knobs. A lot of our competitors will advertise they have a lot of effects or different amp models, but unfortunately, they're not accessible from the amp itself. One of the great things about the VYPYR, if you need to get to an effect or an amp, you can get to it from the face of the amplifier without hooking a bunch of USB cables up or computers. In addition to that, though, we do allow you iOS remote control as a new feature on the VYPYR X2 and the X3 that allows you to save and store your presets and manipulate the amplifier from an iPad. In addition, we have audio streaming in via Bluetooth so you can play along the backing tracks. It's got a special EQ circuit in there, which is different from our competitors, so the backing tracks sound full range and they sound as they should coming through a guitar speaker. All of that combined to make one of the most versatile and unique amplifiers on the market. Take some time to check it out. Check out our quick start videos. More information at peavey.com.